Welcome to the CE Pro podcast. I'm Executive Editor Arlen Schweiger. Ring is one of those companies that had probably more of a presence in the mainstream before hitting the custom channel, but over the past few years has increasingly gained traction with integrators. In this wide-ranging conversation with Todd Towey, National Sales Manager for Ring Installed Solutions, he details the feature-friendly products, cybersecurity measures, ONVIF camera support, and other benefits that are winning over professional dealers and their clients in this week's podcast episode. As always, be sure to subscribe to CE Pro's YouTube channel and hit that like button on our videos, or subscribe to the CE Pro podcast on Apple and Spotify and leave a review. Todd Towey, National Sales Manager for Ring Installed Solutions. Thanks so much for joining the CE Pro podcast.
Well, thanks for having me. It's good to talk to you again.
So Todd, can you go over, we'll start by having you just kind of detail some of the latest advancements and solutions in the Ring Alarm Pro family.
You got it. So we start with Jamie Siminoff, right? So his signature on his email is Chief Inventor and Founder. But it is about inventing. And I think that just goes through the whole organization of just inventing and keeping with that mindset of, hey, let's continue to bring new things for our neighbors. At Ring, again, we call our customers neighbors, but the Ring Alarm Pro is really exciting. I mean, we started, and the history of our alarm effort has been in the physical security, right? So door and window sensors, motion detectors, flood and freeze sensors, carbon monoxide and smoke detector listeners, newly released glass break. So around the history of our inventing to date has been around the physical security. The Alarm Pro is, we tend to believe that we're turning the alarm industry inside out. And by doing that, we're incorporating the digital security because the central tenet while of the home, the connected home and of home security is connectivity and the internet and making sure you have connection there. I first got into the industry, Arlen, it was all about the receiver. The receiver was the heart of the home. But now it is really transitioned and transcended into connectivity and into the internet. So with the Alarm Pro, we've incorporated an Eero Wi-Fi 6 router built into it. So with that and the opportunity to get the Eero Secure, and we'll go deeper into how you get that piece of it. But now you have the ability to stop malware, and just bad actors, phishing attacks, things like that you have, viruses. So it really does eliminate that. You're able to then have potential people inside of your home, not visit specific sites. You're able to do things like that gives an elevated user experience in the digital security side of it. So I would first start with two, right? So it's the physical security that we've had, and now incorporating the digital security. So those are two fantastic aspects of the Alarm Pro. But if we continue to build on that, we then look at, hey, what else have we incorporated? So now we have 24/7 internet backup. Not only do we have a battery backup inside the unit, but you have the ability to add battery packs to the Alarm Pro. So it gives you extended period of time. So in case your power goes out, you now have all your security cameras are working as well. And then again, we add more to that, and that is cellular backup. So we have LTE backup that comes with 3 gigs of data per month, and you have the ability to add on to that data as well. So again, if a dealer who is looking potentially for a small or medium business, maybe before they didn't look at Ring as a viable solution, because if the internet were to go out or power were to go out, that business owner would be susceptible to, to things, to bad actors, et cetera. So that's some of the changes that we've made. And the Alarm Pro, there's, just so much more that we can do now in that small, medium, and different residential spaces as well.
Great. It sounds like there's a lot happening there and a lot more opportunities for integrators who are working with Ring. Now, you also had a recent announcement about support for ONVIF-compatible cameras for the Ring Alarm Pro and Ring Protect Pro. What can you tell us about what exactly does that mean for users, for dealers who are selling the products? What are some of the ramifications of that announcement?
Well, for dealers, and that's where my in this industry for dealers and integrators and custom integrators, that's where my passion lies. And so for them, it's all about an ability to have bolt-on business, right? So Ring, we don't manufacture a dome camera, for example, but now we have the ability to work with an ONVIF PoE camera that's a dome camera or a turret style camera. So now that gives dealers the ability to onboard ONVIF supported or ONVIF compatible cameras into the Ring app. And then also the ability to now have local storage recording with our Ring Edge. That's also a part of the Alarm Pro, is now that dealers can have a record into a micro SD card, 64 gigabits up to a terabyte of data to have recording of motion, live view, history, things like that, that now a dealer can approach a small business, residential home that says, hey, you want a dome style camera? I now can offer that to you where previously we couldn't. And hey, you didn't want it recorded in the cloud for some reason. That was something that you didn't want to offer. Hey, but now you have the ability for local storage recording. So it's a huge win for dealers that I think can offer. And again, small and medium businesses where before they couldn't.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. And we certainly know that, just the ONVIF kind of stamp of approval there means a lot to people in the security industry. Speaking of the security industry, the big annual show, ISC West, recently took place in Las Vegas. Can you tell us a little bit about what some of the vibe was like at the show, some of the discussions you had with the dealers there, and just some of the highlights of the booth? I know you've already mentioned a few things, but what else that you were talking to security dealers at the recent show in Las Vegas?
Yeah, no, three things stand out at ISC West that I take away from. One is there was palpable energy inside the building of people who wanted to be out and about and see, their friends and coworkers and just out in, live in-person events. So I really believe that we're turning the corner in this pandemic, and now we're able to do that. So one is just the energy in the building was fantastic, and that's what the first would take away. But and for Ring inside the booth, two things stand out, and that would be our Works with Ring wall. So we got to showcase our integration with Lutron. So with their Raw 3 platform just announced, we're able to now have an integration. So if our doorbell captures motion or is rung, we can now a dealer can now turn on lights, both interior and exterior. Leviton was showcased. HoloVision. So HoloVision really on access control and keypads, et cetera, that are elegant and matching the design element of homes. So that was, and then Brilliant, for example. So again, just showcasing to an integrator, hey, Ring isn't just about a doorbell. There's so much more to us, right? There's integration with all these great companies. And how can you, as a dealer, take this doorbell that's been so successful and now turn it into security cameras, an alarm for that part, third-party integration with, access control, opening up a gate, just all the things like that really started to, what I realized was dealers still tend to, on the security side, still tend to look at us like we're a doorbell manufacturer. And it was great to see some people say, oh, wow. And then the last part is the ONVIF camera, to be able to showcase to a dealer the experience inside the Ring app, because one thing that is very clear is our app, the experience of our app is incredibly compelling. Again, when I travel around and I see people see me with my Ring gear on, people approach me and say, hey, do you work with Ring? And I'm, oh yeah, no, I do. Hey, and then they get out the app and they show me, let me show you my app. And I always, since the integration and custom integration world is where I have that passion for is, hey, who installed it for it? And quite often, believe it or not, it is, hey, my husband's guy or our guy installed it. And so it's pretty exciting in that regard. But yeah, and then the ONVIF part, just to be able to show that and see the difference that we can make, and the bolt-on businesses, I like to say, for a dealer who says, rings, the doorbell, wait a minute, you do all this and now you can do a bullet or a turret style, a dome style camera. That was, for me personally, that was just great to see. People walk in with some skepticism, right? Like, why is Ring here? You're sort of our competitor, as it were, only to turn the conversation into, yeah, we do compete at some level, but at the end of the day, look at all the stuff that we do offer. So if you, as an installer, alarm integrator, don't get someone that wants to take your alarm that you offer, hey, maybe Ring is that place for you. So I thought that we turned some eyes and some attention with all that we offered outside of just a doorbell.
Sure. It sounds like there was a lot to talk about there. And certainly, Ring has definitely posed itself as a company that offers some unique solutions in the market. And I wanted to ask you about one of those that was introduced last year. It was actually in partnership with the Home Depot. So it was a Home Depot on a Ring job site security solution. And I was wondering if you could just kind of update us on how that's worked so far, how it's being deployed, and what you've heard from integrators who are using this. So now, maybe when they are working in the SMB space, or in super large houses, perhaps, they don't have to worry as much about the job site security.
Yeah, no, it's there's two things that this week that I was speaking to dealers about and found out how they are using it. Certainly the first and foremost is offering it to contractors. So without an ability to, if you don't have internet at the site, you can still have cameras and motion detectors and floodlights that bring attention to the site. As well as the Ring Alarm Pro, the battery backup. So there's just so much stuff that they could add to protect all all their tools, all the investment they have in these, whether it's remodeling or new construction. So we're seeing just in our channel, we're just now beginning to sell it. It was a Home Depot exclusive. So now we have the opportunity to sell it into our channel, and dealers are, hey, let me take a look at that. One dealer that I spoke to, as they back up their truck every night into their driveway, they now set that up as well. They actually have internet there, but again, it's just a nice case that's set up, that's easy to pull right in, and then it protects their van, right? So again, how much money do our dealers in and around the country have invested in the tools and products in their vans? I mean, it's thousands of dollars. So, really seeing about protecting their vans, protecting job sites, which is obviously the title of the product. But there's a joke inside of my team is we wish it wasn't called job site security, because it actually does so much more. But yeah, it's off. We're off and running with it. We think it's been really well received. And again, it's the ability to protect when there is no internet, right? And so how many jobs do you pull up where the owners are away and they haven't set up in a new construction setting, they haven't even set up an internet connection yet. So really something that we're really looking forward to seeing, and then maybe potential large home builders may take a look at some of this down the road, as we then, because it's just so in its infancy. We'll see what happens, but we're excited about job site security for sure.
Yeah, definitely a neat kind of unique solution out there for the professionals, for the contractors, people like that. It's very cool to see. So, you had hinted on or talked about some of the integrations that you mentioned during ISC West show. I want to ask you about the Ring X line for professional installers. What can you share about other news related to that product development and the distribution of that line?
Well, we continue to evolve and look at ways we can. So we have new product announcements. For example, the Ring Video Doorbell Pro 2. So when we first launched the X line, it was just in the Pro, and now we've brought it the Pro 2 and the Ring Video Doorbell 4, for example. But it is starting to see some real traction. And that's what I think the excitement from my team is on something that we thought of, hey, and we heard over and over again, is that an integrator, I want to offer something that's different than that of the big box retail. What is there anything that I might be able to offer? And that's where the X line came into play. So it's only available in the Pro channel, right? So it's going to be installed by a professional, a Ring professional. So therefore, we want to extend the warranty from 1 year to a 3-year warranty. So that lasts. And then the idea behind this, what we call this elevated level of service, or as my colleague Rich Way said, it's this concierge level of service. So an integrator can come on site, install it. The end user, the neighbor, never has to worry about a credit card or putting it in. The lifetime subscription of the product, so they'll be able to see recordings for the lifetime. So then, a year goes by, they won't get an email saying, hey, it's time to renew the subscription. So again, it just gives that integrator a chance to offer something differentiated. And we are seeing some real steam with it. And I think that we'll look at ways in which we can improve overall the Ring X line, because it's been a value to us and to the dealers and integrators. So now it's just, hey, what else can we now do? Is there an ability for us to potentially make it so that it's a technological difference, like I've always advocated, and this isn't happening. So let me just make sure it's not, but like a PoE, have some additional PoE products that were specific for the X line. So again, we're looking at ways in which we can do it and make it better. And again, I personally believe like PoE, people aren't walking into big box and saying, hey, let me get this PoE camera or this PoE, set. So, but they are in our channel. I think, custom integrators are absolutely talking about PoE and power over Ethernet and how to improve installs and make the network connectivity that much faster. So we're excited about where the X line is, but I think now it's made to look towards the future of how we can improve it.
Sure, it sounds great.
Todd, and don't hold me to the PoE, by the way.
No worries there. Todd, one of the awards programs that we have here at CE Pro that we love every year, because they are awards that are basically coming from the dealers, the integrators out there, are our Quest for Quality awards. And those are all about manufacturer and distributor and their support, their service, tech support, customer support, all sorts of other related categories. And so with Ring this year, this one is certainly one that must have hit home with you, but you guys won a Quest for Quality award in the lead generation category. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about some ways that, you as in particular and Ring have been working with dealers to assist and help with the sales and marketing side.
Yeah, no, that's first of all, it's an honor to be recognized for lead generation. I think that goes to our mission, right? Make neighborhoods safer, and I think that is that's really starting to galvanize communities together, and they're starting to see it. So they're asking, our neighbors are asking dealers, hey, I'd love to install Ring if you could, and then it's for us, it's what we see is the output of that, and that a dealer saying, oh, I can do a doorbell, but hey, you have a floodlight opportunity above your garage, or you have any smart lighting around the house that needs to be dialed in. So they're able to then take this doorbell request and say, look, I can do so much more that's available to you. So I think that's one. It's turning these lead generation into bigger opportunities. And then like if I take a step back, a dealer that installs Ring, like I mentioned, people do talk about Ring, they're excited about, here's my app, let me show you. And when a dealer installs that and both the homeowners are excited about it, hey, maybe that's the opportunity to say, look, I was out back doing the lighting and I didn't happen to see any audio back there. Do you have any desire to understand how you can improve your backyard audio, or again, just different avenues of just distributed audio around the home? I'm in your house, I didn't hear music. It's that kind of conversation. I think that's what Ring is generating, where the experience is very good, and then that leads to other opportunities in the house. But so that's one avenue of it. And the other is our Ring partner program. So we have a partner program that, hey, if you become certified and a neighbor in Des Moines, Iowa says, hey, I'd love to have my Ring professionally installed, we can identify, hey, these are the Ring certified dealers in the area, and then and provide that to the neighbor favor as well. So there's a kind of a dual effort going on. Is one is Ring as a brand is generating leads, but it's also then, hey, in and around certification, we're able to identify the dealers that can install a great solution for a great user experience for our neighbors.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. So, in speaking with your dealers, what have you been hearing from them these days? A few months into 2022, we'll say, where's most of the demand and growth you're seeing from, which product categories are really kind of hitting home out there, and what kind of trends are you seeing lately that have been driving that kind of growth?
No, that's a fantastic question. So the Alarm Pro, I mean, that's absolutely one area because Eero has a dealer following as well, that is certainly growing within the U.S. So now that you're able to pair, Ring Alarm with the digital security of Eero and Eero Secure with the Ring Protect Pro plan, that certainly is something that we see that is, I think, that's driving a lot of the demand. Then the ability to do local storage recording, that we're seeing is another area where dealers are, wait a minute, you guys now do what? So we're definitely opening some eyes with the Alarm Pro product. And then it's the Ring Access Controller Pro, the ability to open up a gate. So I can now, the gate's 1,000 feet down the driveway or close. I can now see through the Ring app who's at my door. And now in that app, I can let them in. So those are the areas I think that we're seeing incredible growth and interest. And again, taking Ring as this whole home security, and it's not just a doorbell company anymore, it's just so much more. And I think those are the areas I think we're seeing real growth in.
Sure. Well, getting back to the doorbells, which were obviously the core product of
Yep.
Ring. We posted some research pretty recently that said that video doorbells are, really kind of making headway now as a standard amenity in new home builds. And so we were wondering, does Ring's work with builders reflect that? And if so, where do you see that potentially helping the builder integrator relationship, which we know is another one that, can certainly lead to a lot of projects?
Yeah, no, home building and in general, we've really doubled our investment in working with home builders. So we've brought in additional people that now focus just solely on home builders, both on the national level. Lennar, who is really doing some great things with not just the doorbell, but adding the alarm as well. So we're seeing on the national level and also the regional level, where we're seeing some really, and not just in the doorbell, but also, and in the alarm, but also security cameras. I think the floodlight camera, for example, is something that we've seen in a lot of proposals and a lot of in PowerPoint decks, saying, hey, you have a floodlight spec'd into the home above the garage, which is absolutely right. But hey, let's now take that floodlight from just dare I say, a dumb light into now a smart light that's got two-way audio, 1080p on the video, 110 decibel siren to go with it. So let's actually add a real enhanced feature there to go with the doorbell. So we are seeing in those two, security cameras, alarm, and doorbells with builders is, I call out Lennar specifically, but other national builders as well that we're working with.
Great. So a lot of potential opportunities there too. We know how important those relationships can be to custom integrators.
Yeah, and it's about the integrator too that's working with the builders. Before, I think we took an approach that was, hey, let's reach out to home builders, right? So let's start reaching out to the Lennars of the world and Brookstones and K. Hovnanians of the world. Hey, but now let's take a step back and now look at the integrators that are supporting and bringing ideas of not just doorbells, but certainly thermostats as well, and other devices for the home. it's the work there that I think is starting to pay off, because now they feel like they're included in the approach, where before it was, hey, I'm working as the integrator to recommend Ring. Ring is working to, with the national builder. And maybe there wasn't that communication because the investment I think we've made in the home building channel. Now there is a two-way, hey, let's work with the integrator who is recommending to home builders and has that day-to-day relationship where we may not. So it's good to see integrators capture that business, but also work directly with them as well.
Definitely. So lastly, Todd, I wanted to follow up. You hinted at the digital security measures before. Certainly with the smart home, connected home, we know that's something that, the mass media often covers is, homeowners' insecurity is about potential cybersecurity threats with, getting into their devices, things like that. So cybersecurity is certainly something that's crucial and something that Ring has been addressing of late. What can you share with us about the latest measures that the company has implemented for all your devices?
Yeah, no, it's a top of mind. Security always remains top of mind, and we've had situations in the past where someone's, password was discovered, and that's how they were accessed cameras. So we were the first to come out with the two-factor authentication. So if I were to, get through your password into your network, I now to access a Ring camera, the actual owner of the camera would have to then approve of me actually viewing the content or viewing live view or have access to that camera. So two-factor authentications has been, a real compelling effort. And then the other is end-to-end encryption that just makes it so that it's not as easy to, to hack into and break into video in our cameras so someone can see. Because again, I think that's, it's so important for us to be able to have the trust of our neighbors that, hey, if I put up a camera, how can I access and not have, some bad actors, as it were, access the cameras in our devices. So it is something that we've definitely, we've put a lot of attention onto, and make sure that, hey, people understand, hey, passwords, you should change your passwords and make sure that it's not the same password of 1, 2, 3. We try and give ideas that, hey, password, make it a little more difficult than just your address perhaps.
Right.
But
And I
it's
imagine
a serious concern. It really is.
yeah, and that's got to be a message that I would imagine that, Ring is, very deliberate in, having its dealers and integrators share with concerned homeowners as well.
Absolutely. Because again, the network is the heart of the home. And so it's you as the integrator have to showcase your knowledge to the homeowner that, hey, these are things to watch out for. And that the more the integrator can educate the homeowner, I think that just goes a long way to showcase, hey, why they're hiring a professional. And hey, these are the things to look out for. Then again, with Eero Secure and the ability through our Protect Pro plan to, to make sure that they have the Eero Secure and just all the digital stuff that to protect. So phishing attacks and hacking, things like that, that just they push out updates to make sure that stuff is protected and updated frequently to manage against that.
Sure. Well, we know security is all about peace of mind for the customers, and so with that, Todd Towey from Ring, we want to thank you for being on the episode this week and really going through a lot of exciting happenings at Ring. So thank you very much, Todd.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always dynamite to talk to you, and I'm excited for what we're doing.
Great. Well, we appreciate it at CE Pro on the podcast. So thanks again, Todd Towey from Ring.
Thanks, Arlen.
To all of our integrator and manufacturer friends, be sure to submit your top products for CE Pro's Best Awards and great projects for CE Pro's Home of the Year Awards. Find more information and all the deadlines at cepro.com.